Hey guys, what's going on? It is medium Brandon Russ, astrologer, life coach, entertainer, blah 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 da blah da blah da blah blah. I'm back from my summer vacation. I don't know what you guys were doing on your summer vacation, but I was having a bunch of stuff. Bethany's already signing in and saying, "Woohoo, I'm on time." And you know what the funny thing is? I'm never on time either. So this is what happens. Hey Melanie, how are you? We're going to be doing some shout outs, but I want to do something a little bit different. Change of season's coming. Want to kind of approach this from a different way, be able to say hello to people in different ways. And I want to start having guests that are making an impact, because I meet a lot of really cool people. I meet a lot of very cool people. And by the way, shout out to all my cousins out in Minnesota. We had a great time out there. Sometimes unfortunately, when you have a family as large as mine, sometimes people pass while you're there, and sometimes that's just the timing. If you need to figure out why it is that the medium was able to get out there to the family in time, then I'll let you figure that out. It was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful time out there. My dad got to see a lot of his old stomping grounds, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to save all that for later on down the road. I wanted to approach the podcast a little bit differently, and you're going to see a market change. Tonight, yes, I'm going to get to the shuffle up and heal, but I love the discussion. Sometimes just talking to myself, it's a little boring. And it's not that I don't find myself boring, and not that you guys don't find me entertaining, but sometimes I need a catalyst. Sometimes you meet people that are just elegant and relevant all at the same time. And I wanted to welcome in somebody just to have a discussion with. And this is Alexandra. Alexandra, you're coming on film here. How do you like this, Alexandra?
Hey,
How
all
are
right.
you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Brandon. I really
Like,
appreciate it. Awesome.
everybody does it. They don't even know what we're going to talk about yet, because I'm terrible at like giving introductions. But
Neither
you
do
know, it's a constant conversation for me, for people in their path, right? And when you and I reconnected, and by the way, you and I have known each other, what, 7, 8 years,
we. Yeah.
easy, if not longer.
Yeah.
And we connected in a reading, and we saw each other at events, and that sort of thing. Kind of typical for me to meet people that are outstanding and amazing, right? And the idea of, we always broke down into conversations like this, whether we wanted to or not. So just a little bit of background about Alexandra. And by the way, she doesn't have a big bio. I just want to give you guys a feel for where I want my guest to go with this. She doesn't have a big bio. You don't have anything to sell. You're not trying to like promote anything except for the topic that we're about to talk about. And it's amazing. And I can give you its full authenticity. You are doing the work you're meant to be doing,
Mhm.
because I've known you now for however many years we just talked about, and you've been so consistent with it. And our like then of our connection is in human resources, but what you do blows my doors off. Give a little bit of a feeling, and I love that you call yourself being a professional as a human being. Give us a little bit of background about what your day-to-day is, and trust me, I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
No, well, my job is to help immigrants coming into this country from all over the world, and navigate the systems in the country, and get adapted and start a new life. It is very, very it gives me a lot of satisfaction just to be able to
Yeah.
personally change somebody's life. But that is just how I make my living. But we all have an alter ego.
Yeah.
um, and in a way, this is so minor. It's a little part of what I do.
Listen, you're freaking out 90% of the people that are listening to this right now, because you said the word immigrant and you said the word help.
Mm.
And there are so many people that just don't understand how to help immigrants. And then you do it every day, and I mean, kind of tongue in cheek, dismissing it like, okay, it's my job. It's what I do. It's what I'm meant to do. But I can attest to this, that then allows you to expand in a way where you're connected to a higher self, to a higher source, to a higher purpose. And it's like a 1, 2, 3 type of thing. And it doesn't mean that everybody on this channel suddenly has to work with immigrants. That's not what it is. You're calling it specific because of your background. You want to talk a little bit about how we got here, or how you got here, and then
Well,
we'll dive into the energy stuff.
I like to say that the story of the world is truly the story of migrations. You
Yeah.
know, either voluntary migrations or forced due to wars and genocides and all of that. But nobody wants to leave their home. We love where we're from. We love our home. We love our environments, our food, what's familiar, and leaving that is it is very difficult for everybody. So the story of the world, we wouldn't be this rich, this complex as a world if it wasn't for immigration and migration and people landing in places that they were not supposed to be in the first place, just like a petri dish, like we shared last time we saw each other. We live in our little petri dishes, in the
I
same
love that.
bacteria. There's certain bacteria, certain things, certain elements, and we get comfortable and it's all right, and then something else comes in or gets put in that creates chaos. And we go up in arms and us, and we say, no, 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 we had it all figured out, we were fine in our petri dish, why do we have to change? Well, because that is how we morph, that is how
Hmm.
we expand, that is how we change, that is how we enrich each other. So immigration, it's not pleasant many times for those
Yeah.
who have to migrate, and it's not pleasant for those who have to welcome new elements into their environment. But it is the way of the world. After
You know,
all, nothing is more foreign to this planet than humans, right?
well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a great time, beforehand, and we always
Somewhere
kind
else.
of laugh. And I'm dealing with your nerves coming into this. That was fun. And then, being able to, first of all, this conversation went from like 2 to 10 in like 30 seconds
Yes.
because what you described, and I love the assimilation of the petri dish because we are there. Oh, and by the way, those of you that are tuning in, we are absolutely going to do a shuffle up and heel tonight. Don't you worry. I want to try different things, and that was one of the things that I said to Alexandra. I said, I want to make sure that I do this in a way where people love the readings. Like, that's great, but I also think that sometimes I get onto topics where it'd be great if I had somebody. I would have just talked about you, or alluded to you, and I've done it before. It's funny. You've actually, I don't know if you ever caught it or not, but I would bring that up. I go, there are people in this world that are like committed to making sure that immigration kind of happens the right way. And
Mhm.
I always had you in mind. And again, it's not always a success, and we're not actually here to talk about the politics or any of that other crap, because it's a process. You're there to facilitate the process,
Mhm.
and that gives you that higher piece to it. But I want to talk about the shift because
Mhm.
you're on the front line of the shift. So that primer, that dedicated primer that you just talked about, of being able to say, "Hey, listen, you are." We're this experiment. We're this social experiment all the time, constantly, without merit. And as we kind of progress through this, there's just a necessity for whatever reason, the wars, the scarcities, all the reasons to move. But what we're seeing now is we're seeing an energetic shift. Maybe we are the spiritually enlightened in our own petri dish, and we are being made to feel uncomfortable, so we move or migrate. What are you feeling? What are you sensing in your connection? And again, we don't have to go deep into all of the things that you're doing spiritually, but I think it's noteworthy how you connect with information, how you realize that this is the work that you were doing with purpose and everything else. But what do you see with the shift right now? How do you feel?
Well, I am completely and absolute. I told you I have galactic post-traumatic stress disorder.
That's a real thing. That is an absolute real thing. I cannot tell you how many times people will tell me it's like through their memorization. And one of the things about being a star seed and being, a crystal child and whatever category belief system you want to put into it, when you start to realize these things, you're half mad and half fight or flight because you're just like, I'm remembering this. Why did it take me 45 years to remember this? Why did it take me 55, 75 years to remember this? And now I'm like angry that I didn't realize this sooner. What are you recognizing? What are you seeing this? Because you're also seeing it cross culturally too, right?
Well, in my intuition, I see that not only not in the back of the story, we humans are not native to this planet. We came from everywhere else. If we want to accept that into
Hmm.
cards by now, which there's a lot of information about that. We came from everywhere to see this planet. So now that we are being really put into the position where all kinds of people are in our backyard from everywhere, and we can be in anybody's backyard as well, that we want to go to. And I realized that this is exactly the point where we can just step into what's next for us as a world and as a planet, and take the mantle of responsibility for being human. And as we spoke before, for me, intuitively, the borders they must be something that start kind of becoming undone. They just
Yeah.
start not being so enforced, not being so such a big
Wow.
deal. And yeah, I get it. We love our culture. Everybody
Yeah.
loves their culture. Nobody wants to, but like famously said, culture is not your friend. Ultimately, the only and the biggest culture we do have is our humanity. And so the ways of the past need to give way to something entirely new that is non-local.
Yeah.
Non-local. We must become one humanity, you know.
And I think that the primer in this, and again, I look at where I come from, and I really challenge myself over the last couple of years to travel and to see different cultures and to try different foods and all that stuff. It is still very privileged parochialism to say, "Hey, I went there," and "Hey, I did that," and you're the first person to call me out on it. Thank you very much. But it's also, you're like, "Ooh," like I think I think one of the things that you said is, "Ooh, Florida." Like, you just let it sit there, and I went, "Yeah, okay, all right, I get it." I have a passport for all 50 states. There's somebody else that picks on me about that too. But the dynamic of that, though, is that even the borders of the states, and again, it's like, how do we assimilate this into the next step? For me, my step needed to be Texas. For me, my step needed to be Tennessee. For me, my step needed to be Minnesota, blah, 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 whatever. So there's dynamic here that we're kind of going at our own pace, but I knew I had to start to challenge myself. What do you think is one of the things that make that you're ready to grow this? I mean, people that you're dealing with sometimes are being forced into this. How do we do this from a place of position of, I need to try something new, or I need to explore, I need to forget about that boundary or that border?
The media has been jamming down our throats through propaganda that most people in America don't agree with immigrants, don't want them here, and don't want to share the bounty, and don't want to give them the opportunity. I'm telling you, that's the biggest, fattest lie ever. Because in my experience, Americans, the story of America is who comes here and does the legwork, gets up in the morning and gets the job done. You're my buddy. You come with me. I respect you, you respect me, we get it done. And I see this 1,000 times over every day. So of course I cannot tell you how, but you know americans Americans don't care where you come from. The ones in my experience, they don't care what language you speak. They don't care what why you're here. They need some 100 acres of pumpkins picked. You show up at 4 in the morning, you get it done with them,
Yeah.
you're good. We're going.
And listen, I would give you the floor. Like, once you started going on this, like, you had me at hello. You really did. Because, well, I mean, listen, I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of Martin Luther King's thought process. Maybe not all of his teachings, not necessarily all of his lifestyle, not necessarily everything that you would, I can take the good and take the bad and sort it out and say there were some things that were great and some things that were challenged. But the premise and the and the construct of being able to say, like, hey, this is coming down to a character thing. This is coming down to an ethical thing. Like,
Mhm.
and I think partially of what you're saying, and I think this is what I can contribute to your thought process here, is that what you're sewing together right now is the idea that when somebody is an immigrant, they're going to bring a certain value to the table. Doesn't matter what it is, but everybody brings one. And in your case, you're like, listen, we're being prone. And I actually think this is, you're talking about the great lie that seems to be going on about how, racials and borders and all this other stuff go down is from people from a place of fear. Is from people that, think that if you also earn money, then that takes away from you. It just doesn't make any sense at all. But I think the bigger part of this too is that I think as we kind of grow as a humanity, we have to start finding the values of other people.
Mhm.
And those values aren't necessarily whether or not you can pick a pumpkin patch. It isn't necessarily whether or not you can be a laborer for a day. From a spiritual context, what are the things that you're beginning to see that people are showing one another when you do get that cross culturalization going?
It really is. I mean, picking up a pumpkin patch is it means everything. It means if push comes to shove and it is Armageddon, and you need to have a brother to
That
to
escalated quickly, by the
go
way.
through the day, to go through the day and to make it and to live or die. You don't care
Hmm.
where they're from. You don't care
Hmm.
where they're from, and you don't care what's the political situation or what party or whatever. So
Hmm.
we are in those times. There are
Yeah.
a tremendous amount of American business owners that cannot find reliable help. People, for whatever the reason, you know,
Well, why do you think that American culture has given that up? Why do you think? I mean, because listen,
it's
that
the
was
sign,
our Ven.
the
Our Ven
signs
was
of the times.
recruiting, right?
It's the signs of the times. Everybody's we we think that we can push a button and we can get what we want and fast and easy, and that's all right. I mean, the millennials, we love to hate them, the damn millennials who
I'm going to challenge you on that.
don't even know what what they are.
I'm going
But
to challenge you on that
of
because I think it is across generations now. I think it's
course.
really easy to point out the lazy kid. I will also tell you that I find that it is, you know, so much of the construct of is being handed to us. It's like, oh, well, this is a first generation, Generation Z or whatever, Generation X and Y and blah, blah, blah. Millennials, they're the first generation um, to not know a world without the internet, to not know what a payphone looks like, to not know those things, right? From a progressive standpoint in spirituality, do you think we're losing some of those things and that the people that are benefiting from it now, I mean, me being that generation, born in 73, like I can't live without my cell phone. And if you asked me 20 years ago when cell phones first came out, I resisted them. And I worked for a telecom company, by the way. And I didn't want them. Like I was like, I don't want them to know where I am all the time. I don't want them to be able to call me. It was part of that. It was a privacy thing. But then the convenience thing took over. How do you think that pulls out from our spirituality and our collective consciousness in that distraction? I mean, I think we just have different distractions now. And part of that distraction is away from hard work. How does that tie into our
Course,
spirituality?
of course. I have always made a really conscious attempt not to judge the younger generations the same
Sure.
in the same manner that we when we were born. Also, our grandparents said that they're messed up. They'll never make it. Those kids, they'll never make it. And
I also had two guidance counselors tell me I wasn't going to make it
yeah,
either.
yeah,
So,
and and
how many
our
views did they get today? I don't know.
yeah, for sure. Every generation criticizes the next, saying you're toast. You'll never make it. You have it so much easier than we did, and you're just not gonna make it. And so we're now looking at these kids right now and looking at them and going, "Oh my gosh, they're never gonna make it." No, I would hold judgment because the universe must be cooking something that I can't see in their pots, and
Yeah.
they must be having skills in a certain magic to them, tools that I don't even know because
Mhm.
I'm 50 something years old. But for sure, they do have something. But what they don't have is the values that we held, which is get a stable job and work till 40 years or whatever, retire, get a pension. They don't hold those values whatsoever.
Yeah.
They want to live their life and then work for a little while and then live and explore and then live a little while. And it's not about, oh, I need to figure it out and I need to know what I am right now and I need to not change and I need to stick to it, because that's old school. And
Yeah.
I totally commend them and I applaud it and go and run with it and make your life
Right. And
a
I
life.
think what's also happening too. Yeah, I think what's happening too is, I'm sorry, we got choppy there. I think what's happening too is that we're starting to appreciate the cross lines of generations too. I just went on this vacation, and my dad and my three sons were all together like for 10 days, including travel stress and all that other stuff. And I watched, I would post on Facebook, lessons that they were, taking care of them. They were pushing them. They were whatever, because they had gotten so used to a man who just took care of himself, even though things were falling off him, even though there were challenges that he had. And I wanted them to see for real, like, what he goes through, why he makes it look
Mm,
easy.
mm,
And the youngest one, of course, is the most astute one. He, he was just like, he has to put on his leg every day. And I'm like, yeah, he does. And then he's like, huh, that's really hard living in a wheelchair. Like, he saw it up close. And I think that the only kind of way to learn, or to realize what those impacts are, is to be able to say, like, okay, here's what it is. Here's what the connection is. Here's why this is so difficult for him. Why are we able to kind of participate? How did he make it look easy? And vice versa. My dad also saw up close, my kids had a hard time sitting through a TV show. One of the nights we were chilling in the room, and we threw on a movie, Pirates of the Caribbean or something, which was a joke with my dad. But anyways, they couldn't do it. They could not do it. The two older ones could not. And they're fully assimilated to this ADHD conditioning that I'm really kind of realizing I have to really parent for them to break it. And then the younger one, who doesn't have a phone right now and isn't fully engaged in a screen, was able to kind of like sit there and watch it with us. And I'm seeing that cross generational thing when it comes to kind of the universe is cooking up something. What do you think is being cooked
mm.
up? I mean, I'm giving these examples where I'm trying to be conscious in the moment, but what do you think is being cooked up? Like, where do you think we're going with our spiritual enlightenment, with our realization, with all of that, and include all the pressure cookers of politics and immigration and crossing borders and eliminating borders and all that other good stuff? What do you think it is?
Mhm. We are going to the stars. We are getting ready to be welcomed into the universe, and it is
Hmm.
amazing that these kids can sit through a movie, because I remember back in the day when I was a kid, and my parents, my grandma would say to me, "Wow, you're toast. How come you can sit there for 2 hours and not move and stare at that the stupid box?" She would call it.
She called the stupid bug.
Yeah, the stupid box. The
Oh, the
stupid
stupid
box.
box. I
You kidding me?
love it.
How can you stare there for 2 hours without moving or more? And now we seem to think it's a problem when they cannot sit through a movie. Um, then again, I don't want to pass judgment on that. They have an ability that we don't. They have to keep moving, and they are assimilating a
Hold on
tremendous
a
amount
second.
of information.
Let it catch.
Yeah, they're assimilating ever increasing more information faster than us. And so it's all accelerating, so that we are going to land in a place where we're just going to be, in my intuition, I think we're going to be left without any of these devices for quite a while for some reason. And we are going to have all this information in our heads the young, the old, the super young, the super old, and we're going to have to pull it from inside us and share it.
Mhm. Sounds like a quality of the age of Aquarius, if you ask me.
Well, it might be, but never before in the history of humankind has so much information been available, and yet we might sit down for 3 hours to watch a movie. We might sit and do TikTok for 3 hours, but it is much harder to sit with a friend and just talk for 3 hours about nothing or anything or something, right? It's a mystery. Yeah.
Happening. Yeah, I think what's happening is the breakdown of social structure where we can't just face people,
Mhm.
and I rail against this all the time. People will, how do I want to say this? They spiritually bypass things all the time. They spiritually bypass, instead of saying, "Hey, I'm an incorporated person. I've done this work with this person, and now I'm learning from this person." We tend to want to just break it off from the like, I did that, but now it doesn't work for me anymore. What they tend to do is look for the next shiny thing of distraction and say, "Oh, look at this! Now I'm doing Reiki or past life or insert whatever there." Do you see how the social interaction, the independent interactions that you have with people? How do we find our comfort zone? And I think time limit is still something that like we use as a coping mechanism. What do you see with that? Like, do you? And I want to ask this from a cultural standpoint. Do you find people that you're working with that were living in another country 3 months ago? Do you find that might not have access to technology or has all the access to technology use it differently because they're so prone to want to be able to connect? What do you see?
I'm going to tell you something. I've been doing this work for over 15 years, 18 years. 18 years ago, people that came into the US to work
Hmm.
would buy those phone cards. Remember those phone cards that gave you 16 minutes to
Oh
call
yeah,
the country, and once your 60 minutes were done, you were out of time. Um, Now people can talk all night with their relatives for free because you just connect to
yeah.
it. So there's a lot of children being raised. I know a lot of people that wake their children up through WhatsApp across the world. They'll get up, go to school. Did you brush your teeth? Take the phone with you. I want to see you brush your teeth. When the kids come home, I'm gonna see your homework. They're online. They're virtual parents. The mother or the father working somewhere else in the world, and the children left behind. The technology, then again, it's serving some purpose that it didn't have before. And how many parents, I mean, back when I was a kid, my parents used to go to work, and if I spoke to them 3 minutes a day, it was a lot.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm.
Isn't that interesting? So basically, what you're saying is that your kids don't want phones because they don't want to be found. They don't want to talk to you. I'm only kidding. I'm
Now
sorry.
they
I'm
don't have
only
an
kidding.
option because at the click of a button, you're like, you better answer because I'm paying for your phone, right? And I want to
Oh,
know where you are. I want to know where you
I'm
are.
starting to get your parenting style too. Just to
Tell me,
let you
tell me,
know.
tell me what's happening. What I'm saying is that what wasn't available yet before in the past in communicating with children and with
Mm.
young people, now it's 24/7 and for free.
Is it good or bad? I mean, that's kind of the question that I have in all of this. Are we doing it the right way? Are we doing it in a way that I mean, does it fit the paradigm that you were talking about earlier? Like our borders are going away. You even said it, like our boundaries with our parents are going away.
I am
Right?
an Aquarius, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I am ecstatic. I am thrilled. I I am absolutely in love with what's happening, and I think it's an amazing thing. I think
Yeah.
it's amazing. I think it's amazing that a parent that is 3,000 miles away can speak to their children 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours a day.
Yeah. And it's valuable because it keeps that connection with them, right? So, and it's funny that you keep kind of redirecting back to connection. You keep redirecting back to this human consistency of being able to, talk to one another, feel one another. My jump when the pandemic hit, before then I was like, I started to bite the bullet and go, yeah, I'm going to offer some online classes. But nothing was like being live to me. The meditations, the classes, all of it. And when just before it hit, about 6 months before it hit, I was coming into the end of the year and I'm like, I need to start to, scale. The television show was alive. And, I just had so many reasons to do it. And sure enough, when I started to reach out to people, I'm like, boy, I'm reaching more people now. I'm seeing more people. I'm opening myself up culturally,
Mhm.
to understand how people communicate with one another and so forth.
Mm.
So when I started to do that, I realized that I was so comfortable with my own parochialness. I was so comfortable with my own being able to say to somebody like, "Hey, I'll see you at class and let's talk about it then." Instead, it was like well, this is as good a time as any. I actually became
Mhm.
more efficient in a way, and I
Mhm.
became more connected. But now I'm connected to people in Colorado. I'm connected to people in Texas and Florida and so forth. Whereas before, I just worried about my own parochialism.
Mhm.
With our consciousness, with our connection to kind of a consciousness that is kind of emerging and that we're going to move off planet. What do you think the big moves are going to be doing?
What? I'm sorry. What big moves?
Yeah,
I
what do you think what do you think the next wall is going to be? You're talking about borders and you're talking about things of, having borders fade away is a huge deal because you eliminate the comfort zone. What comfort zone things do you think are going to be out of the way that are going to allow us to connect?
I think increasingly people are pushing towards this. Well, through the pandemic, we found out that we don't have to physically go most places. We can just
Mhm.
connect through a video, right? Um, and now people are realizing, oh wait, you don't really have to see my face. I can
Yeah.
put an avatar, or I can put 17 filters and look totally different. It's all right. If it's
Yeah.
okay with me, it has to be okay with you. And so now we're changing into like, not only do we have to not physically be anywhere, but we don't even have to be represented by our actual physical self. And you see all of these things happening. So now we truly are becoming non-local
Yeah.
in consciousness, communicating just consciousness through to consciousness, which is amazing.
Yeah, it really is because are you also I think you're kind of alluding to that we don't need our bodies anymore.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like
And
that's I
this
mean, have you seen dream work increase? Like have you seen dream work? Have you seen coincidental like, "Oh, I was just thinking about you and you called me," and that sort of thing?
Of course, of course. And what's happening with Meta, that, there, of course, me being from the time I'm from, I see that and I'm like, oh, that's the devil. But I truly don't know. I truly don't know if putting
Yeah.
a visor on myself and having an avatar and entering a virtual world and sharing in with whatever the situation is in there. I don't know if that's really awesome. I don't know if that is going to be contributive and expand my
Mhm.
awareness and my consciousness. I don't know, but that is where it's going.
It's interesting. I wanna pull up the astrology of what's going on, and it's interesting because when we talk about technology, you go to Uranus. And again, we're not going to get hung up on the houses right now. Um, but just so you get a feel for how things are kind of laying out. This is for September 3rd. This is actually yesterday, and it was this is something I actually talked about in my weekly B, which you guys can go ahead and join. Go to tbrandonruss.com. You'll see it in the subscriptions. It's pretty easy to find. It's a weekly class, and we go over the weekly astrology every week. And it's the dynamic here. The thing that really kind of like stood out for me when I was talking to the class is, you have Mars at 29 degrees Gemini, up is down, down is up. Very similar. I was talking about. Saturn being in retrograde right now. Up is down and down is up because we're in Pisces. But Uranus sitting here at the 27th degree in Taurus is basically right in conjunct with the Algol star, the star in which of the chaos star, or the devil star, the demon star, whatever.
Mm.
And it is squared to Pluto. So this is very much an activator of like the misuse of technology,
Oh.
the recognition of addiction of technology.
Mm.
But there's a blessing here in this chart too, because when you have Venus, the South Node, and Lilith all in conjunct here in Libra, this is a very calming energy for a couple of reasons. First of all, Venus is in opposition here because it's opposite of Aries, and it allows you to really kind of look at this in terms of balance, not necessarily in terms of what I can get. Lilith is like, what do I need for my healing? The South Node is what will make me comfortable. And it's being squared by Pluto, which is empowering it for what you need out of it. So the translation in this is that technology is being empowered to be used, maybe not for the best usage right now. Welcome to my YouTube channel, by the way, everybody. Thanks for watching. And then you also have the blessing of it. And by the way, I used to, sit there and say to myself, like, oh my God, I'm a walking, I'm a walking dichotomy here. If this is the way that I think and I talk, and, I can't bash technology ever. It's not the use of technology, it's the misuse of technology. And it's not the prolific use of technology, it is the appropriateness of use of technology. And when, of course, we're empowering the sun here, where we're learning our lessons, the moon has moved off of the new. But realistically, we're placing our lessons, Vesta connected to the sun here, we're placing our lessons of self front and center. We're allowing ourselves to say, I've learned that I have done too much with technology. I have learned that this is a better face-to-face conversation than not. I still think that astrology tells us the human condition and the human lessons. And I think it also allows us to unlock. So if we can get through these lessons, I think that path of enlightenment, that final countdown Europe moment of we're leaving together, is going to come into play, because we've got to learn this stuff though. And how we apply it. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Shift,
Certainly.
Kelly.
Certainly, but it is impossible for such a gigantic tool as social media and technology to not have its downside and its misuse. Just like everything, it's a tool, and it will ebb and flow, of course, naturally into sometimes of blatant abuse, in some to extraordinary contribution to society and humanity and evolution. So for now, I think every time there's an election coming, things kind of just up in the
Yeah.
in volume, in our completely taken to the next level of the circus act. But hey, we're here, we're gonna get through it. It's gonna come and it's gonna pass, and we're gonna, in retrospect, 99% of the times it's only in retrospect when you look back and you go, oh, do you remember when this and that was happening?
Yeah.
Wow, that was nuts, right? Or this was cool about that, and so and so.
We were talking when when we were in Minnesota, and one of the things, I mean, this will just summarize like the generational piece to it. My dad talked about the Bay of Pigs, and he was like, he lived in St. Paul, Minnesota. Like, I don't know if you know where Cuba is. I know you know where Cuba is. That was an awful joke, Brandon. That was terrible. So he was nowhere. I mean, northern Minnesota. I mean, they're not going to reach, like not from there anyways, not from Cuba. But during the Cuban Missile Crisis, they were in sheer terror, fear of what was going on, and it was actually one of the catapults for him to join the Navy, because he's like, I'm going to have to serve. I want to serve on a ship. Like, I want to see the world. Like, I mean, he wanted to break out of cold winters, and the second oldest of 9, which had its own respective duties and that sort of thing.
Mm.
But he went through that and broke through his own borders with it. But part of it was based in fear.
Mhm.
How much of this goes from fear? And then we're gonna turn on the shuffle up and deal cam for you. But
Okay.
what about, what do you think? How do you think fear plays a role in all of this? And I'm going to move back to the other camera angle here. How do you think fear works into it?
Into the misuse of technology? Is that
Well,
what?
into technology. I mean, technology is just one piece of it, but what about the idea of us being able to break out of our shell, our own awareness, our own enlightenment? How is fear being used to kind of poke and prod things to move us towards consciousness? Because it's not all bad.
Something must have happened to me. Maybe it's part of the solar flares.
Well, I think you said a
Something
lot
must have
there
happened
without
to
even
me.
realizing it.
Well, something is up with me because for a while now, maybe about a year, I just get this for it's no reason whatsoever. There's no logic. I just have this certainty of the beauty and the hope for humanity that we cannot even see or understand. There's no logic whatsoever to it. But every day more, and then I hear about the ascension symptoms and all of that, and people, I have a headache, I'm sluggish, I'm tired, and I'm like, huh, aren't you having like little bouts of bliss or euphoria as well every now and then? Because I do. And so when you ask me about how does fear play in, I'm telling you, if I'm feeling this way somewhere out in the world, maybe I want to believe that there's people out there as well, that even though social media and TV and propaganda tells us that um, even when we win, we lose, and even when we get a trophy, we must suffer some kind of pain. Um, that I don't know why I don't see it. I don't feel it, and I don't believe it, and I don't see it increasing.
Yeah.
I see this awesome little tiny little bit of awesomeness increasing in the air for what reason I cannot explain. And all these doomsayers and all these people giving this predictions and prophecies of earthquakes and floods and bombs and things. I hear them, and I hear them like they're talking to me like they're 20 miles away. And it's like they're not even speaking in a way that makes any sense to me. So I wanted to share that. If there's
Yeah.
anybody out there that for some reason is just sitting there going, I don't know why, but I'm feeling kind of really awesome right now, but it
Listen,
doesn't make any sense.
you ain't alone. You
People
are
are
not alone.
feeling like crap. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I feel I
Well,
feel
I think there's
there's
value here in
amazing.
what you're saying, because first of all, part of the reason why I wanted to have you on here is because I even said to you, you're not alone.
Hmm.
This is, and by the way, Debbie Thomas, whose question I was going to post up here too. Kelly's saying, yeah, like people are saying yes right now. They're saying yes, that's me. Yes, that's me. Or some element of what you just said really kind of works.
Ooh.
And I think that this is if nothing else, and I know there's 18, 25 people whatever on right now, but 1,000 people will see it, maybe 2,000 or whatever. I haven't, since I stopped talking about wars constantly, YouTube went, "You're not interesting." And then that's when I know I started having a pretty good voice, is when they started to tell me that, like, you're okay. Um, but I think it's valuable to know that you're not alone in all of this, because I do think that we can get caught up in the fear and the desperation and the aloneness of this journey. And my advice, and you and I have talked about this, is picking up the phone, saying hi, shooting a text, saying blah 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 blah. And if it's not your time, you can have a boundary and say, "Hey, I can't talk right now," or "Hey, whatever." But that's why I think it's so important to still have a mix of community things and online things and, hey, I'll get out to see yous and that sort of thing, so that then we can see that. So then when we have experiences like this, we can talk openly about it.
Hmm.
Hey, would you like some cards and get us going and shuffle up and heal?
Oh yes,
Shuffle
yes.
up and shift. I'm going to be real about this. All right, guys, listen, thanks so much for joining us. And I wanted to, Alexander, I wanted to thank you because this took a lot. It's funny. I am infamous for not really explaining too much. Yeah, I used to over explain things all the time, and then people would just be like, yeah, I'm not showing up. And then on the flip side of that, we, I just gave you the benefit of the doubt to say, like, yeah, it's going to be fine. And I think we don't rely on our own. Like, this is my gift to the universe. I'm going to rely on your self-reliance to get you there.
Mm,
Wherever you're meant to go, you're going to get there. You said all the words you were meant to say today, and it was
mm,
meant to break the seal for you, so you expand your voice.
hmm. Yeah.
You don't have to like me. You get me now? Oh my gosh.
You're breaking up a little bit.
How about now? You get me now?
No, no, you're frozen.
How about now?
Okay, there you are.
Do you get me now when I say that I didn't give you a lot of information, and I said you're going to say what you're meant to say. You're going to break the seal the way that you're meant to do it, and everything else was going to be okay?
Yes, yes, I do. I was very reluctant. Thank you so much. It's been very nice, very sweet, and it means a lot to me. A lot.
Well, you're on your way, and if we don't start supporting each other like this, and listen, my platform's only as big as it is. I mean, it is what it is, and the way that I see the world working right now, this is what I'm meant to do. So I'm going to start rolling out some cards for you, Alexandra. Where do you want to go with this? You want to kind of understand what your purpose and path is?
Yes,
I
yes,
had a, I had a
absolutely.
feeling. I had a feeling. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, here we go, guys. Oh, this is about letting go of stuff that just really didn't serve you. And by the way, a lot of people get annoyed with me when I give them. By the way, this is not the most comfortable stool. I am doing this for the show, and I'm gonna need to sew a cushion on my torso. Um, but a lot of people get upset with me when I say, fine, if you let go of things that no longer serve you, did you do the work you needed to before you let it go? This is about you saying, I'm not going to get hung up on where people are lost. That's not my job.
Mm,
I love that about you. Here comes the Knight of Swords. What's the Knight of Swords about? Knight of Swords is about a new idea, a new way of looking at things, a new way of becoming, right?
mm,
It's about you being able to say in no uncertain terms, and this is a very real thing, that you're able to roll out what you want it to be. In other words, you saying, hey, this is born out of me needing to move, migrate, become something else. And by the way, being able to project yourself in a different way so you can do the right thing.
mm,
This is a triumph card. This is a triumph card. All right, here
mm,
we go. And then the Emperor shows up. Of course it does. This is strong Aries energy. This is allowing you to be able to become what you want it to be and how you want it to be based on you enjoying a good, strong foundation, work ethic, the
mm.
whole 9 yards. Like it's all right there for you. And I have a little bit of a surprise here because I'm going to use a different deck. I know you watch a show. I know you watch a show, and I usually use Leo Marchetti's Royale, Grand Royale
Mm.
deck, but I got a new deck in, and I hope you guys are okay with this. Are you guys ready?
Ooh, nice.
All right, here we go. Oh, I love it. Here we go. How about the Ace of Wands? And by the way, I know you don't know who this is yet, but you will get to see it. The Ace of Wands, along with the Eight of Cups, tells us that you were you had to go through that in order to understand it. You had to find your intestinal fortitude, so to speak, right? And it's about you saying, hey, just because it wasn't the best scenario or just because it was a loss doesn't mean that it's necessarily negative. Oh, you guys are going to know whose cards these are now. The strength card, also known as Charlie Brown, standing in his truth. These are my Charlie Brown cards, everybody. I saw them on the internet. I'm sure you did too. But I went ahead and bought them because guess what? That's where I wanted to go with them. And then you have, with the Emperor, I think we're going to... Hi, Lucy. How you doing? How is Lucy the Queen, by the way? And if you don't like these cards, it's on you. The Queen of Cups here over the Emperor is that you're going to do it for greater love. The Queen of Cups really kind of supersedes a lot of different aspects, a lot of different things that would slow you down, a lot of things that would whatever. It's almost like whatever the question is, love is the answer. And to me, that no matter what the basis is coming from, you're working with the good to be able to say, I don't know what the problem is, whether it's immigration, whether it's food, whether it's work, whether it's jobs, whether it's whatever, politics. The answer is love.
Yeah. So awesome. So true.
Look at you go. Can I pull a card? Can I pull an oracle card here?
Yes.
To go inspiration here?
Okay.
Can't make this up. So then we pull the empathetic star seed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. Don't worry. The answers are coming. Look at that.
Empathic starseed. Oh my goodness.
How about that one?
Huh?
And energetic sovereignty. I love energetic sovereignty. I love that concept. And energetic sovereignty is one of those things. Glad you love the cards, Jamie. Yeah, Renee. Yeah, Debbie, I was worried too. That's why I only bought 2 decks of them, but I have them. And the energetic sovereignty thing is something that we really, truly need to start to recognize, that you have to own it. If you give somebody on the side of the road $5, right? If you just kind of like do this where you say, I'm going to give money away whenever I can, and this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm not over giving, but I'm setting my limits and I'm doing that work. Well, you are energetically sovereign because you've made a decision to say, I'm going to give this away and it's not going to bother me if I don't, quote unquote, get it back. Energetic sovereignty is pierced when other people say, give me your money. It's about free will, everybody. Everything is about free will. When you start to look at things in politics, quit looking at it as red or blue. Quit looking at it as Democratic or Republican. Start looking at it as in what takes away free will, what encourages free will. And by the way, that doesn't make him a good policymaker either. There are some things that are 100% like some of the policies that are going on right now on both sides are they're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. Like, who could ever born this idea? Are they lying to us? Probably. But which one is trying to take away free will? Yeah. Who's trying to take away free will? What ideas are trying to take? What structure systems are trying to take away free will? We're seeing a time where even the process of some of these systems that are meant to help us don't work on purpose because they don't want it to be real. See also immigration.
Yes, so true.
For sure. Well, Alexandra, thank you so much for being a part of things here. If you don't mind, I have some other people here that would like some cards. Do you want to stick around, or do you want to? It's up to you, kid.
You can close my window off. I'll hear you in the background. This has been such a great experience and opportunity. I love your readings too, and I'm going to watch the rest of the show here in the background. But thank you
Okay,
so
gotcha.
much.
She's
Thank
going back into the green room. All right, everybody. Like I said, Alexandra, and some of the new things that I want to be able to do is to have people on. So if you think you have something you want to share, drop me a line. Talk to me about it. I think I told you. I think I told you a half hour, and we're going on. We're going on an hour, but
We're
that's
going on an
par for
hour.
the course.
How
So,
amazing is
like I said, some of my campaign promises I didn't complete on. But anyways, Alexandra, thanks so much.
pretty
We're going to
good.
give you the
So
hard cap,
awesome.
and
Thank
we'll
you.
see you again. We'll see you again soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Great. You guys need to catch your breath. Well, too late because we're going to dive right into this. Yeah, I hope you guys kind of like how I'm doing this now. I did a little soul searching, did a little work. And by the way, I want to let you guys know that tomorrow we're going to have producer Daryl is going to be running the show on this one. We have a 10th House Publishers podcast. Again, it's Comedian Roast. We are sponsored not only by 10th House Publishers, but then also Audible. We are landing some key sponsors here, and we are going to have our guest is going to be author Michelle Lynn Johnson. She has a new book coming out actually tomorrow. It is a fantastic read. It is about shifting your standard. It is geared towards people from age 18 to about 38 that are in that crux of post-graduation trying to figure out what your life's purpose is. And guess what? She wrote a knockdown, drag-out novel about it. It is a to-do book. There's a workbook in the back. It is fantastic. Daryl has been preparing for this. She's the editor of the book as well, but she's also been preparing for this podcast for about 2 months. She's really excited about it. We're going to go live at 11 o'clock tomorrow. It's interesting to see the progress of something from start to finish. I'm going to talk about that. It's really great. You're going to want to join us at 11 o'clock or certainly join it in the next one. And once both of them are up, I'm going to link the two of them together. I also want to let you guys know Brandon the teacher is still kicking ass and taking names. Astrology 101. So many of you have asked me for this class. What we're going to do, give me 30 seconds to explain it. We're going to take your chart. I'm going to show you your chart. You're going to learn astrology from your chart. You're going to understand your purpose on your chart. You are going to learn how to understand all of that astrological mumbo jumbo stuff from start to finish. Just 222 drop in the well, guys. My advice to you, though, sign up for the weekly B. You might have some friends in there with that one. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move backwards here. We're going to drop this guy. We're going to come large with this one. Here we go, guys. How about some cards? Yeah, astrology is the best kept secret on the planet. I love that one. Why am I not doing this? All right, let me do this. Let me add to the stage, and then let me call it this one. Why am I not being able to? I don't want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do this. Why is that not? How about this one? How about this one? Oh, that's weird. How about this one? How about this one? Here we go. All right, guys. So if you want a reading, go ahead and drop some notes here in there. Chiron is coming through. Yes, Renee, thank you so much. Pauline, thanks so much. We love seeing you there too. Hey, Sharon, how are you? We're going to dive into this. Laura, good to see you. And Laura, to answer your question, it is a little bit different than a previous class. I saw your email as I was logging on. I didn't get a chance to respond. Oh my gosh. Hey, Jenny, but feel free to let it rip. If you remember, Jenny was on board right after she lost her father, and some things were coming through for him, and we've got some other stuff. Listen, Debbie, I'm going to say a quick hi to you. I really like it when people are kind and polite. So thank you, Alexandra, once again. All right, here we go. Debbie, don't know where you want to go with this, but we're going to start with the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords, of course, is about ideas. It's about kind of a new attitude, a new thought process. And then, of course, Queen of Cups, playing with the Queen of Hearts, knowing that she's really smart. Yeah, we're going to run out of room here. Sorry, the Queen of Cups is going to have to get on top of somebody. And then the Eight of Cups, or the Seven of Cups, rather. So we've got choices. So just in a vacuum, this is about changing your idea, putting yourself together with self-worth, and then watching the options open up for you. Ooh. Are you hot, mama? Sure looks that way to me. Sorry, just reading the cards here. Just reading the cards here. And it's interesting. So, do you guys like the Snoopy cards? I kind of like the Snoopy cards. Oh, well, you put something to bed, because the 10 of Swivels, by the way, that is the swords to them, the spades as they call them. 10 of Swords. Look at this. Charlie Brown getting butchered. That's kind of weird. I'm pretty sure that Charles Schultz didn't sign off on these. All right. Queen of Cups. Page of Cups. So maybe this is something new. This is a new idea. This is a new job. This is a new presentation. Oh, come on. And then you get the 10 of Pentacles. My dear. You know what? I am pretty sure that your kindness is going to resolute around the world now. You're going to kick butt with this one, because here we are from left to right. You're moving away from the pain because you're making different choices. Your self-love is making you come into this with a different approach. Maybe a new job, maybe a new way of life, maybe a new purpose. Did I say purpose? Don't say porpoise, say purpose. And then you have the 7 of Cups along with the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles is just winner, chicken dinner all day long. So, Debbie, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And I'm going to wrap you up with our Oracle card deck here, which is the Starseed deck. And this is Star Bathing. Oh, light body crystal grid. Transmission and activation. How about that one, huh? Boom, right there on top of everything. Everybody loves that. You're going to go back and slow that down and read it before it drop it and everything else. But boy, oh boy. Thanks for kicking us off here, Debbie. Well, actually, Alexander kicked us off, but listen, when I go rogue and I go happy here, this is where we're at. Oh yeah, everybody's looking alive now. Everybody is looking alive. Hey, Bethany, how are you? I see you out there on that. Yeah, Debbie, thanks so much. Thanks so much for tuning in. Yeah, Jamie, here we go. Right way to ask. Hey, I'd love a few cards. Here you go, Jamie. I don't know what your question is, but I have a feeling it's about your balance. A lot of balance conversations right now. So the 2 of Pentacles is one of the soulmate cards, believe it or not. But it's also about not necessarily being in love. Oh, I'm going to drop my ears. Actually, I don't really need these anymore. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to unplug my bulb. And then I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I can hear everything now. So the 2 of Pentacles talks a lot about our self-sustaining validity in a relationship. Right? I don't know why that's doing that. All right. Well, I guess I can't hear it. So 2 of Pentacles lets you think that you're in a balanced situation, whether you are or you're not. But it has more to do with head over heart, right? 4 of Pentacles or 4 of Cups comes out because you think maybe I got everything right, but what am I missing? What am I missing? Is it maybe an affair of the heart? I don't know. But whatever it is, it's going to be hard work for you. We're going to go ahead and talk about this hard work here with the 7 of Pentacles, because we're going to grow where we're supposed to go with this, right? Grow where you go. I did shuffle these. 9 of Spades right there on the 2 of Pentacles. This is kind of a little bit of a martyrdom. It's kind of like you might be in a really great relationship. You might be in a really great situation, work, etc., whatever. But for whatever reason, they let you know that this is a whole bunch. Black Bella's out on YouTube again at work. I love it. But the 9 of Pentacles actually talks about the wounded warrior. This is about you saying, you might be a martyr in this situation. I don't know, with work or whatever. Yeah. The 4 of Bats, which is the wands in the Snoopy cards. This is about you celebrating the idea of what you're losing. You might be a little bit of a martyr here, Jamie. I'm sorry. I'm just going to put it out there for you. Or you might have married for the reasons of martyrdom, or you might have or you might have known that it wasn't necessarily going to be the best or the worst. And then the Knight of Spades comes up, which is Knight of Swords, which is that kind of like new idea of like, hey, I'm going to recreate this. So either either you're going to put in the work into this relationship, this work situation, or what have you, or you're going to decide for yourself that like, this is going to be my coping mechanism, right? Maybe you moonlight in something that brings a little more fulfillment to you. Maybe you decide that there's a connection that you want to have with somebody else and maintain another relationship. I don't know. I don't judge. Let's quit worrying about being in here. Oh, I love this one for you. 7-star sisters. The Pleiades, thank you very much. Birthing creation, tapestries of expression. I think that your situation is going to allow you to be able to expand. I chicken dinner, winner. Lots of love there. By the way, Kelly, I did see the Schultz exhibits out there at the Minnesota State Fair. I'm sorry we didn't connect, but I saw some of the statues of Snoopy and Linus and everything else. Yeah, so this one right here, the question is this a work like that? No, this is called the Starseed Oracle. I use this out of convenience because I think it just takes everything kind of like a cosmic offshoot. I've got a couple of other decks too. I want to start mixing them in, but yeah, that's the Starseed deck. So yeah, Jamie, listen, I think any of the challenges that you have here, you're well aware of, and I think you're on top of. And I think you're knocking it out of the park, Jamie. You got to keep going on this one. Got to keep going. There's Black Bell. I love this. Hey, Bethany, I love that you brought up the eclipses. I'm not going to put your birthday up there because I'm not pulling charts right now. But by the way, guys, I am going to do some charts live with some other people. I want to start having fun with this. Life's too short. My meat suit has an expiration date and I can't find it, but I know I have one because I'm watching other people expire right now. This week I've had 4 funerals and I have a wedding. It's a different plot twist, isn't it? I have 4 funerals and a wedding. It's the way it's going. Loving those eclipses. Let's go to here, Bethany. How are you, kiddo? Hope you're doing well. Wounded Warrior right out of the gate. What are we talking about here? We're talking about release. We're talking about letting go. We're talking about saying, I know that I'm better than this. Come on, girl. It's the last time you volunteer in my class. 10 of Swords. Whew. Can you have a little faith that sometimes you go through stuff because the right things are going to happen? Maybe you're being released so you can go in a different direction. I'm sorry, but I love this spread for you. Lessons learned. Not going to be the martyr anymore. It's a new you. I kind of love this, Bethany. You might be like, I don't like swords. Oh. Lessons learned. The Emperor. This means something family. A little bit of family value here. Now, it doesn't mean that they actually intentionally hurt you. They use the skills that they had. Sometimes you grow up a Twins fan and you don't know any different. Although I had a poster of Greg Nettles on my wall, Thurman Munson, but you'll figure it out. Oh, man. The 5 of Rocks. 5 of Cups, rather. Who'd you lose? But you didn't get closure with them. He'd prefer to be called the fool. He'd prefer to be called the fool. Okay, Bethany, here we go. You're really off balance. You are really, really off balance. Bethany, this is a little counseling session right now. I think you need to create a new reality for yourself because I think you're getting the crap kicked out of you. And I think your family stuff, you got to face it because it's going to keep coming back. It's what you know. Yeah, Bethany. Okay. Thank you for the validation. Bethany let us know that that's definitely what she's feeling right now. So 92, how many years is that? 22 years? How old are you? 32. So couple of things. And by the way, I'm going to go over this in my astrology class. At 32 years of age, you have gone through your Saturn return. You have gone through copious amounts of Venus and Mars returns and Mercury returns, and we'll talk about how that all plays together. But you also coming up in your next Jupiter return, which is going to be at about 36 plus or minus. So you're in that sweet spot in between Saturn and Jupiter, and it kind of goes back and forth. One of them expands, one of them contracts. Part of the reason, you don't know what to tell them. So what this is doing is this is getting you ready. And by the way, Saturn represents the father here, and being able to kind of go back into a conversation with him and be able to say like, hey, dude, that wasn't cool. Hey, dude, I don't like how you talk to me. Hey, dude, I'm not a kid anymore. It can look in a lot of different ways. Your spread right here is kind of like a, what the hell am I talking to you about here? It's almost like maybe your dad feels like he's the victim, that he's the one that raised you, or he's the one that sacrificed and worked all those hours. He doesn't feel appreciated. I'd start with appreciation, because sometimes people get angry for no reason. I don't think he's going to circumvent your path, though, but I think this is something that's going to be an opportunity and a life lesson here. The new Earth, it's happening. Hold the vision. Whew. You're creating a new reality, kiddo. Look at that card. A new Earth. We're leaving together, and still we stand tall. By the way, those of you that are a fan of Hair Nation Radio, which I listen to from Baltimore to Albany with my dad, they played all of the B hits of every single band. And by the way, Dad, they did play Crocus. Something Through the Night. Just to let you know, Dad, because I know he's watching. I called like 3 songs, and I'm like, they're going to play one of these. And sure enough, they did. Anyways. Europe did the final countdown, right? It's the fun, and then released the most culturally inappropriate song in the history of Hair Nation, called Cherokee. A bunch of guys named Europe wrote a song about the plight of the Cherokee and the Trail of Tears. Just going to let you know it didn't play well in my head either. Right? And by the way, the hook was terrible. Just give me some White Lion. We'll just go from there. Anyways, Bethany, I think you're going to get there. I think you got to have some tough combos, though. Sometimes it's just the way it rolls, right? But you're doing it. You're doing it the way that you were meant to do it. One way into another. Hold on a second. I'm not going to be rude. I'm going to do this, Alexandra. Thank you so much, love. And she's packed up her gear and she's heading out of Dodge. Keep up the good work. Heart taps. I love that I have a studio to do this stuff. Just to let you know. Mars retrograde in Cancer on the 7th. Yeah, pay attention to that stuff for you, and especially if you have Cancerian placements in your chart, or Capricorn. Oh, you got to pay attention to the opposition stuff too sometimes. And being a Capricorn, there it is, kiddo. There it is. I'm not going to put your digits out there though. Very cool. Julie, thanks so much for coming in. Hey, Jenny, I'm going to have to read that afterwards. I can't wait. I'll connect with you too. Yeah, sure, Linda. Let's do this. I want to get a couple more people in here. Linda, how you been? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're feeling good. Yeah, you know what? My camera angle's a little off. We're going to do it this way. All right, here we go. Oh, 2 of Cups. Who you liking, girl? It's just us girls here. You know? Summer loving, having a blast. Isn't this when Greece would have actually taken place? Like right now? To be like, what'd you do last summer? I don't know. Her name's Sandy. I'm making fun of every Sandy I know. How about the Page of Pentacles? I don't know. Summer love and having a... Oh! Didn't go away. Oops. How's it going? You might want to get tested. It's summer loving. Anyways, just have a good time with this. We're having a good time with this. So if I'm going to read this left to right, I'm going to talk about this being connected to somebody. I'm going to be talking about kind of a different attitude about a practicality and the tower moment. Maybe, since the Pentacle is here, maybe this is you looking at your finances and going, you know what, we can't spend money the way that we did last year. We got to do this a little bit different. That's the feel that I get, but I think you're in a partnership with it. Let's see what the top cards are. Oh, the Hierophant shows up. Wow, how did the Hierophant show up? So this is you kind of knowing together. And by the way, this is the strength. Like, this is a combo bladder. Again, the Two of Cups is one of the soulmate cards. Then you have the Hierophant card coming out. It is done for the right reasons. The Page of Spades, which is also known as a Page of Swords. This is kind of like new, kind of almost a little reckless idea with the practicality of it. This tells me that, like, even though you know the difference, you tend to do the wrong thing, or you know the difference and now you tend to do the right thing. This is kind of like an opposition standpoint of it. I love this. I'm going to listen. It's just us girls here. Discard the Hermit card over the Tower. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss, Linda. Do you know why? Because the Hermit is an elevation. What you just went through was so then you could grow. Listen, we're in life school. You know, Earth school is life, right? We got to get through it. Some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth. They never learn any other lessons. Some of us eat rocks and sprinkle shake cheese on it, and it's delish. Now, you tell me who has a better disposition in life. The person that finally gets a cheeseburger, right? Or the person that goes, cheeseburger, whatever. Nope. We're here to grow, everybody. Listen, when I roll out the Tower card, you guys know that I go, the great severing, Mars energy, angry, conflict. I almost feel like this should have gone to the last one, but we're going to show it here. We're going to talk about the great severing. So this is about you making the decision. And maybe you're letting go of some material stuff here, Linda. I mean, listen, don't go buying stuff on the internet willy-nilly. Let the last thing that you buy is my astrology class. It starts in a month, but you're going to get material beforehand to get your work started. You're going to allow yourself to begin to become in depth and ingrained in astrology to learn it for yourself. And then after that, no more intermittent spending. Just thought I'd say that out loud. Linda's not sure she's coming back. She's not really sure. Oh, I love you too, Linda. I can hear the grass grow. Oh, cool, Julie. Julia. Holy Toledo. You guys are really dropping on this. Yeah, right, Black Bell. I know I skipped you last time. Yeah, sure. And Della Davies. Hi, how are you, kiddo? Hope you're doing well. Join us over on the Facebook side. Make sure you go over to YouTube, though, and subscribe over there, too, because I do some stuff over here that I don't always get over there. Oh, here we go. Hello, Paula. How are you? Black Bell's here. It's so funny. Oh, Three of Swords. And Della, don't turn the channel yet. Page of Swords. What is up with this? A lot of swords today. Swords represent the ideas and the mind and how you kind of change it, right? So this is kind of the brokenhearted card. And then here's the Page of Swords. I'm going to tell you, they're going to, I love it. Six of Cups. Chicken dinner! So the Three of Swords basically is going, I don't know if I can give you another level of suck through the heart than this. Your idea of love 3 times is worth death. Because have you ever seen anyone live with 3 swords through the heart? No. It's pain. It's suffering. It's anguish. And then the Page of Swords comes out saying, are you mocking me with your idea of change? The answer to that is yes. And then I will give you the 6 of Cups. The love, the growth, the expansion, the ability for you to be able to become something that you're not. But you leave that wretched piece of no good, you know what, behind all that pain, that suffering. And with that 3 of Swords, I give you death. The death, the dismemberment. Poor Woodstock. I would have thought you would have tried to kick the ball and missed it, but no. Poor Woodstock learns by the death by Sir Isaac Newton. The gravity, the death, the change to gain justice. That's the football being missed. The Justice card. I am so going to change my Facebook profile picture to this. For sure. What does justice mean? It means balance. It means you're coming back in. Does it mean retribution? I don't know. It depends on who you left. And then you got the 6 of Cups along with the Chariot. Dare I give you the Red Baron, everybody? Thank you. Good night. Mwah! You will triumph in a way that you could not see before. The 6 of Cups, the abundance of the next generation, the abundance of a new creative idea, new passion. And the Chariot is a one-night stand happening that lasts forever. Keep your clothes on. Be safe. Holy Toledo. We really went there, didn't we, here, Andela? We went there. Inner Earth, you will survive with new solutions and beginnings. We did. Is this accurate for you, Andela? I find the 3 of Swords this fortnight. That death be come upon me and I change. The Page of Swords that justice held. That hallowed be thy name. We became the 6 of Cups to celebrate in balance, to go quite quick in the Chariot, to find ourselves in an inner earth that not only will we survive, but we will find new abundance. Thank you. Good night. Just got to put Sir in the front of my name. Penny misses me now, doesn't she? Just kidding. By the way, Penny's doing great. We connected when I was in Minnesota. Yes, I got that up our sleeves. And Della, thanks so much for tuning in. Right? Channeling Q from Star Trek. All right, calm down, everybody. Weirdly relating. I love that one. You got it, kiddo. Hey, Julie, how are you? Oh, look at you standing up in your truth. We're going here, kiddo. Anybody that's gone out of their way to show your own theatrics, here you go. Hey, Kat, how are you? King of Swords. Oh. The 3 of Pentacles. And the 3 of Wands. Wow. So this is about you taking out the emotion, but getting what you need out of it. The 3 of Pentacles is about kind of like a hey, it's not a scheme, but it's more of a let's plan this out. Let's find our truth. Let's kind of get something where everybody's kind of involved. Not really ready for prime time yet, but let's kind of plan it out. And then you got the 3 of Wands. That's about travel. That's about traveling to go find who you are and what you're about, kiddo. Here comes the sun. Almost like a goddess in a way. The sun comes out, covers over behave. The 2 of Pentacles right there. You got a soulmate card right in the middle of all of this, but it's a practicality kind of feel to it. It's kind of like there we go. And then it's about timing. The 4 of Swords comes out. Snoopy's kind of like, eh. By the way, this is also known as the Romeo and Juliet card in tarot. How about that? So really from left to right, this is about you knowing who you are, knowing that you're the center of your own attention, knowing that you're in the plan of something here with something that you really feel collaborated and balanced on. The 3 of Wands is about the travel, and the 4 of Spades is about the time of it. Oh, wait. Got to give you one of these. How about that, Julie? Perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. It's common ground, everybody. In other words, what this is trying to say to you is Don't get hung up on the deets. Get hung up on the experiences, right? Which, by the way, is part of the reason why they're price gouging us right now. Because what they're saying is, oh yeah, Rita, we're still on. They're price gouging us because the experience is so important. I went to a AAA baseball game and I paid $29 a ticket, which I didn't think was bad. They were playing the Yankees AAA. Place is packed, beautiful stadium where the Saints play. And then a few days later, I went to the Twins game. I paid $22 and they threw in a hot dog and a drink. Just put it together. Put it together. What's value? And by the way, I was one of like 14,000 people at the Twins game, and I was one of 4,500 at the Saints game. Just little economy. Wow. You're right, Laura. Wow. Yeah, don't overthink it. You got it, kiddo. You definitely got it. Somebody asked for a card. Weirdly relay. I love that one. There we go. Hey, Michelle, how you been, kiddo? Hope you're doing well. Hey, by the way, I have a lot of my schedule up on my website, tbrandonruss.com, tbrandonruss.com. You know where it is. It's tbrandonruss.com. You go there. You can see all of the things. This Friday, I'm going to be signing books. My book, as well as another really cool book I'm involved with, which is the High Vibrational Wellness. I'm pointing to the book, so you should know what I'm talking about. It'll be myself and 3 of the other authors. Daryl, Sue, and Ruth. We are badass. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of jokes. Come hang out with some people. I'm going to bring my tarot cards. Don't you worry. We're going to have a good time. You want to see me in person? Come on out. It's fun. Buy some of these books. A lot of fun. All right, Michelle. How you doing, kiddo? By the way, we're going to be at Mocha Lisa's on Friday. Those of you that are upstate New York know exactly where that is. Fantastic coffee. And the scones aren't bad either. The authors are above average. Here we go. Ooh, 7 of Swords right out of the gate. Don't think I don't like you, because here is the Ace of Cups. Ding, 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 ding. And then let's do the. Oh, I'm going to give you a reverse on this because that's how it came out. You got people around you don't trust, kid. I think where this is going is you're feeling really protective about stuff. You're trying to be the light and you're trying to be like, but it's giving me something that I need. And then this 5 of Cups in reverse is kind of like, I'm not willing to give up on it, but I don't trust it. There's a lot of trust in the room with this one. 7. Oh, can't make this up, everybody. 7 of Swords with the 7 of Wands, or 7 of Bats in this case. The 7 of Wands is kind of the higher ground in a conflict. The 7 of Swords is kind of like a sneakiness in a conflict. You're taking the higher ground. This is a suggestion. And then the 7 of Cups. You got options. Hey, girl, you got options. I don't know what that means to you in this spot, but I think you can piece it together. You are uncovering deception is what you're doing. Sorry, Michelle. It's right there. And by the way, this could be a workplace thing. This could be a kid thing. This could be a relationship thing. This could be a spousal thing. I really kind of think this has more. I'm going to tell you where I want to go with this one. I don't know if you're involved with like community sports or if you're involved with like a community theater or something like that. By the way, check my schedule. I'm supporting several community theaters this fall. I just get the feeling like somebody's not telling you the full. They're not being on the level. Michelle, is this resonating with you? You're saying definitely. And I get if you don't want to give details here, but the moon is kind of that uncovering thing. That part of like, that reminds you that if the sun doesn't give the moon its light, then the moon just kind of sits in darkness. Right? Or as some people have reminded me, you leave people where they're at instead of working with them through their challenges or next level. Oh, yeah. Sirius energy, messenger, and Sirius as in the star, bringing harmony and balance. Yeah, so this is about you standing your ground on this one. right? I don't know if you can say what category I was in there, and I get if you can't, but I think you're going to come out ahead on this. I'm going to tell you why. If you're not happy, you can't stay unhappy. And by the way, everything's figure outable, right? Tough conversations will happen. Feelings will be hurt. But the serious energy comes in here to say to you, it's time. There's a greater good here. Find the lane of the higher ground. Find the lane that allows you to say, I can handle this a lot of different ways. The 7 of Cups here in the center. Take the good, you take the bad. They're probably great on Thanksgiving. This is, you know what this is? This is the uncle that's great with 2 beers, but when they have the third, they're reprehensible. Right? This is the we can stay for 2 hours, but at 2:01 we got to leave because it's no good. Don't give it any more light. Don't give it any more of your energy. Meet people where they're at. That's the way I've always said it, not leave people where they're at. Fuck that. That's irresponsible. They're in your life for a reason. You don't get to leave them. Your courage says everything here, Michelle. Thanks for tuning in, right? It's pretty awesome. All right, guys. Hey, Kat, I haven't seen you in a while. We're going here, kid. All right, Kat, here we go. Woo, Queen of Pentacles. And I know you're still sticking around because I know you. And then the Hierophant. How did I get like 3 Hierophants? I must have combined decks again. Who cares? We're having fun. And you, Kat, are practically perfect in every way. How did we get here? Sweet baby Jesus in a tarot deck. Holy Toledo. So Queen of Pentacles is about being the emotional value of love, timing, and connection. Then you have the Hierophant about doing the right thing for the right reasons. And then you have the 9 of Pentacles, which is practically perfect in every way. It is the Mary Poppins card. It's not perfect, but it's kind of perfect. Then you have the 7 of Pentacles. This is about work. It's about your hard work. Ooh, 10 of Swords, or 10 of Bats, which is 10 of Wands. This is kind of like, by the way, the 10 of Wands, as Peppermint Patty carries 10 bats, is much easier to look at than 10 wands being carried. I don't know. There's something about this. But Kat, this is telling me that in the center of all of this is a ridiculous amount of stress. Maybe it's family, maybe it's dad. What are you being bound by in this life? The Devil card comes out, and by the way, this is the depiction of the devil in the Snoopy deck. Being tied to the chain, and then Snoopy kind of being a little bit not himself. Well, as we do know this, the Devil card is actually about bondage to the earth and its values. In other words, bills, payments, that sort of thing. I think what this is you being reminded to not be too vain about where you're going with stuff. Not to be too, do you need a new car? Yeah, but could you use a Toyota instead of the Lexus maybe? I don't know. Maybe. You were worried about Patty not being in there. Earth pulsing. Pulse the Mother Earth. Slow down. Time is nature. Time in nature. This is about you getting back to some basics here. This is actually an interesting read for me here. First of all, Kat, I know you've been a fan for a while, and I know you tune in. When you see the Devil card is that bondage card, that card that ties you down. So maybe this is also, you know what? Go out in sweatpants every once in a while. You don't have to go gung ho on stuff all the time. You don't always have to put your best foot forward. You're practically perfect in every way. That doesn't mean you have to dress to impress anymore. It doesn't mean that you have to go above and beyond and kiss ass or any of that other stuff. Right? Kat is no longer talking to us. Pauline, I wasn't talking about your Lexus. I'm just saying it there. All right. Laura, thanks so much for tuning in. Justice card. 8 of Swords. And the Moon. What are we revealing here? So the Justice card is kind of about our balance. We're moving into Libra season. Give us a couple more weeks here. Then we have the Eight of Swords, which is these are you got 3 highly intuitive cards right here, Linda. So the way that I think you have to look at this is you have to grow within yourself, right? So if Laura's strategy is to say, I'm highly intuitive, you have to look at it as in like you have to come from a place of balance. You have to trust yourself, and then you have to dream for yourself, right? So that illusion of things. So the challenge with this is that the moon's got to rely on the sun to shine, right? All right, here we go. So we got the star card. By the way, in my research here, this is my favorite card in the deck. When I show it to you, it's going to be yours too. This would be the star card. Here's Charlie and Linus. Hold on a second. Ready? Lights, please. Brilliant, is it not? And then we got the 6 of Swords here, which is about a journey. It is about your next step here. So this is a higher good. You're tapping into divine light here, kiddo. You're worried about becoming who you're supposed to be. Laura, I call you out on this. Because look at this. The 9 of Swords comes out over the moon. You're worried about becoming. This is the anxiety card. This is the dream card, right? This is the intuition card. This is the journey card. This is the balance, and this is the divine order card. Everybody's like, what the hell is he shouting about? I'm excited. Laura's getting reaffirmation that she's the goods. Surrender to the sweetness. Bam. Mwah, chef's kiss. Venus energy. Pleasure, joy, make love to life. Hey, girl, it's not your fault. It's not Barry White's fault. I'll tell you that, Rich. Laura, go forth and prosper, kid. Woo. Good to see you. By the way, I'm skipping. I have an event coming up, and I was actually thinking about you because I know you were out in the Canajoharie area. And you visit me out there with the Rotary group. I'm going to be doing something down in Schoharie. It's a free event to the public. All you got to do is get there to sign up, but I'm doing free tarot readings. Bam! Hired me outright. Hope to see you. And maybe some people can show up that I know that maybe we can do somebody can bring me some lunch. I'm going to be there for like 4 hours. It's kind of cool though. And I will have had my, I got a gig the night before, the day after. I just love it. I love this time of year. Busy, 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 busy. Yeah, Laura, I'll send you the note. By the way, how do Laura and I know each other? She's in class every week. Right? All right, Susan, here you go. 2 of Swords. Oh. 4 of Wands, Knight of Cups. This is, all right. So you got to make some decisions. You got to make some decisions for your happiness is what you got to do. And just taking a look at this and being able to, Carolyn, I have no idea what that is. Is that like a fresh turd? What is that? You're ruining the show. Is that a donut or is that a drill bit? Carolyn, help us here. Susan, back to your cards. 2 of Pentacles. 2 of Pentacles. I'm just making stuff up now. 2 of Swords. 4 of Wands. Knight of Cups. The Lovers. This is a love interest here, Susan. I'm just letting you know. And by the way, it's about choices. You got 2 choice cards on top of each other. And then you have the Knight of Cups. You got 2 Knights of Cups. Girl, are you working it? Like, what is going on here? And the King of Pentacles. Somebody just got herself a sugar daddy in the middle of all this. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, spaghetti. I can always do that. Oh my gosh. Susan, I don't know what mojo you got working on. Well, Susan, listen, cards don't lie. Rachel, I'm coming to you next. Even though my butt's asleep on this thing. The breath of the cosmos. My will to thy will. Right? Micromanaging from the universe. I think you're going to meet him. Are you together with somebody? I don't know. I'm getting like real personal with you all of a sudden. There's still chicken wings in the air around here. My butt's asleep. Come on, you got to spill the beans here, Susan. This is telling you you're getting connected here shortly. All right, we're going to sing happy birthday to Rachel. Long time, first time. Long time, first time. Look at this. Happy birthday. Oh, Lord of the Flies card. Smack number 1. Rachel, you asked for it, kiddo. Oh, how about you change? The death card. And then the hermit card. You're going to die alone. I can only pull this off with people I know. Here's the good news. The good news is that the conflict is abound, right? Then you have the death card about change, and then you have the hermit, which is a spiritual evolution, elevation. 9s, a little bit of broken heart, 3 swords through the heart. In the first position, that really helps. You're welcome, Rachel. You asked for it. Happy birthday, kid. The Queen of Spades comes up. No jokes there. Seriously? But you know what the Queen of Swords represents? It represents the idea of, I'm going to take the emotion stuff out of this, right? I'm going to make sure that I do this the right way. I'm going to make sure that I land on top. And guess what? You sure do. Ace of Pentacles. Bam. You know what this is? This is mom showing up going, I got you. I got you. Check the mailbox. See if you're, and by the way, I love the representation here in the mailbox with the pentacle coming out. Also represents money showing up out of nowhere. Everybody can use that after a little vacation, family vacation. Starkeeper, cosmic ancestors, send the light and stay grounded. Seems like a theme. Seems like a theme. I also now have a reason to write this card deck that maybe one of their placements wasn't appropriate. Rachel, I know you're laughing at that. Please tell me you're laughing at that. Well, Black Belt, you're going to want to tune in tomorrow because I'm going to do a group one here. You guys want this? I think you do. This one's going out to everybody. The Magician. The 5 of Pentacles. And then the 3 of Cups. So where are we going with this one? I'm going to tell you where we're going with this one. You possess the internal structure to be anything and anybody you want to be. The 5 of Pentacles kind of leaves you out in the cold a little bit, right? Kind of like, I'm feeling this. I'm going through this. I'm struggling. And then you get the 3 of Cups. Celebrate good times. Come on. Let me pull out this Magician with the 3 of Cups. Uh-oh. Looks like some shit's going down, everybody. Looks like some shit is going down. And then, ding, 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 the 5 of Pentacles again. Ding, 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 the 5 of Pentacles again. What does this mean? It means that we're doubling down on the idea that loss is inevitable here. This is crazy. This is crazy. So the 3 of Cups are showing up twice here. And the Empress. Let's get back to the things that we're good at. Let's get back to the celebration of life. Let's get back to community. Let's get back to talking to people, togetherness. People are dinging me right now because I'm supposed to be on a fantasy draft. See what I sacrificed for you guys? I'm not going to win this league. It's okay. From left to right, the Magician talks about the magic from within to celebrate yourself. The double down of the 5, it's 5-5. It's about change. It's about the evolution. It's about living life, everybody. Ta-da. Then you have the 3 of Cups along with the Empress. By the way, 3 on top of 3. Guess what? A lot of synchronicity here. A lot of synchronicity here. This allows you to become who you're meant to be. This is a universal code right here. And by the way, I know what the news says. Don't forget what Alexandra said. The news basically, their job is to lie to us, to get us to be in fear, to move us away from our cosmic destiny, to move away from our challenges. give ourselves easy outs, distractions. Well, I can't because of this. I won't because of that. And I couldn't be in love with the person that I'm in love with. What would the neighbors think? Look who's coming to dinner. I don't know. Are you happy? While I was in Minnesota, my aunt passed away. And she had been ill. And it was not a shock that she passed away. But the timing of it is just, it was unprecedented. We showed up on a Saturday, on late Thursday, spent time with my uncle on Friday. You know, he's literally building off the land, and it's really cool to watch. And then next day I was able to see one of my aunts who has dementia, and she recognized me, and it just made it all worthwhile. Then my other aunt, they had discovered that she had, her pacemaker was really compromised. And she struggled for a day, 2 days, and then she was very lucid and said, I want to go. I just want to go. I'm good. I love you all. Coherent, clear. I love you all. When I had an opportunity to eulogize her, and by the way, the pastor that was overseeing it was a born-again pastor, so we got along great. And he had some inspiring words about himself, and he really talked about his journey a lot, and he really postulated what it meant to him, and he did a great job talking about his loss. And when I got up there, I took over what I needed to, because my aunt was really dynamic. My aunt was the matriarch of a family that she couldn't do the heavy lifting for. My cousin, her name is Becky, I don't mind calling her out, finds her faith as her rock. And that rock allows her to take care of not one, but two of her sister's children, because she got roped into stuff that she shouldn't have never started, and she did. But she's still here with us, and she's making a difference every day, and she's getting back. She also is the grandmother of a biracial child. She's also the grandmother of a bisexual child. She is the grandmother of, I think it was 19 kids. And she loved each and every one of them. She didn't give a shit about your skin color, your sexual preference, or what your favorite addiction was. She just loved you. And if you guys are going to sit here and wonder about a guy that reads dead people for a living happened to show up and go to a state that he hadn't been to in 13 years and show up to be able to say goodbye and then bury her later in the week, well, then I'll just let you figure it out. I'm also banned from any family events moving forward, but that's neither here nor there. You've got to trust that your journey means something. You've got to trust that whatever these challenges are, they're put in front of you for a reason. Right? We're structured in a way that we're meant to hear things, or we're meant to be told to do things. But then when we find that voice within ourselves that makes you stand up and eulogize a woman that said things that made the pastor go, "Whoa." By the way, the first thing I said is, so this is what's happening right now. She's trying to figure out how to be dead, and you're trying to figure out how to live without her. This is after a speech about her walking with the Lord and no longer feeling pain, and how he's going to miss her potato salad. I gave it to him real. I gave it to him as structured as I could. I told the truth. I gave them authenticity. I didn't give the word of somebody else. I gave the word of Brandon. We got to start finding the word of self. That's why I wanted Alexandra on today. That's why you're going to love Michelle tomorrow. She's an amazing young voice. And as I was reading her book, I thought, holy crap, I could have written this 20 years ago, because it was all the same things that I had felt, and mature for somebody in her mid-20s. Great advice. And listen, as parents, you've got a kid that's 20-something that's failure to launch, this book is going to help you. Don't come to me and say, what am I going to do about my kid if you haven't read this book? Just telling you. It's great for parents. It's great for people that are stuck in that age range. And it helps you realize that when people cross your paths, they are amazing. And sometimes they're not. But when you see the light and you're able to talk about somebody else, honor them for their path. All right, guys, heart taps. Hope you guys like the new format. I hope you guys like where I'm going with this. Send me an email, brandon@spiritualreconnections.com, brandon@spiritualreconnections.com, or send it through one of these platforms. I'll get it eventually. And I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for everybody tuning in. Keep going.